Hello, Pastor Casey checking in today with that miracle story that I promised you with this past Sunday. A reminder, this last Sunday we read about Jesus feeding the 5,000. We talked a little bit about miracles and how many amazing miracles are found in our Holy Scriptures. But I firmly believe that God is still active. That God still does miracles each and every day. And God has worked miracles in our lives, in our communities. But far too often we don't share those stories. We don't tell them to each other, missing out on a crucial point of our faith, trying to lift each other up and give each other hope and encouragement. Well, my miracle story has to do with a church from my hometown of Beatrice, Nebraska. The church's name is Westside Baptist Church, and the date was March 1st, 1950. Now, a little bit about this church. It had a great choir, still has a great choir, very similar to our choir here at the Covenant Church. But this choir met each and every Wednesday evening, and they were supposed to be there promptly at 7:25. The choir had 15 members, and they would be there by 7:25, so they could start on the dot at 7:30. Well, that evening, March 1st, 1950, at 7:27, the church's heater exploded, causing this massive explosion which could be seen for blocks throughout Beatrice. And the church was soon engulfed in flames 2 minutes after they were supposed to start the practice that evening. Now, those 15 members of the choir, which were steadfast at being there at 7:25 each and every Wednesday evening, all 15 members were late for worship that evening. Every single one of them was late for one reason or the other. Two of them were sisters, and their car had broken down that evening, so they had to telephone a friend in order to make it to the church later that evening. The pastor and his wife, also members of the choir, had a little girl, a daughter, who had gotten her dress dirty, and they had to change their daughter before they could come to choir practice later that evening. One of the choir members was urgently writing this letter that he needed to get into the mail, and was just finishing that up, and so was a couple minutes late for choir practice that evening as well. The pianist, the organist for the choir, typically showed up 30 minutes beforehand to practice and then to get ready for practice. But that evening, he decided to take a nap on the couch, didn't set the alarm, and slept in. Didn't wake up until a few minutes before practice was supposed to start, so he was late as well. There's a couple teenagers in the choir as well, and they were listening to a radio program, and the radio program wasn't supposed to get over till 7:30, and it was a really good program that night, and so they listened to it, and by the time they got to the church, they realized the devastation that they had avoided. Now, we ask ourselves, why did this happen? Was it all just a coincidence that all 15 members were late for choir practice that evening? You can think that, but friends, that's quite the stretch to make. I believe that God worked a miracle that evening. That for one reason or the other, God placed a little bit of hurdle in all 15 members' lives, making them just a few minutes late for practice that night, thereby saving their lives. God is good. God is powerful. God is still at work today. I invite you to share a similar miracle story that maybe you've encountered or you've heard here in our community or in the world today. To post it here on Facebook or email it to me at pastorlieneman@hotmail.com, and I'll share it for you as well. But I hope you have a blessed day and know that God is good and He's still at work.